The first thing Sarah noticed in the new apartment was a door that did not match the others. A plain, wooden slab at the end of the short hallway with 3 heavy bolts and a strip of red tape across it like a wound. On the tape, written in tired marker, were 7 words. The door must not be opened. Please trust me. She blinked, thinking it was a joke from the moving company. She peeled one edge of the tape and felt a cold breath slip through the crack. The air was wrung, dry and dusty, like an attic, but also damp like a basement after rain. It smelled faintly of iron and old flowers. "Don't touch that," the landlord said from behind her. He was a thin man with grey hair and a soft voice. He carried a set of keys on a loop, but none of them looked like they fit the locked door. "Leave it as it is. The apartment is clean, sunny, safe. That door is not part of your lease." "What's behind it?" Sarah asked. He looked over her head, not at her. "A storage space that should never be used," he said. "Some old things are better left alone." His eyes softened. "Please trust me." She laughed a little to hide her discomfort. "All right, I trust you." He nodded and left. On the way out, he touched the red tape with 2 fingers, like a quick prayer. Then he was gone. And the apartment was quiet. The afternoon light made the hallway look warm. The door looked ordinary again. Sarah told herself there were stranger things in old buildings and got back to unpacking. By midnight, the boxes were mostly empty. Her phone played soft music. She brushed her teeth and turned off the lights. The city outside hummed when she switched off the lamp. The apartment settled like a sleeping cat. Then came the first knock. It was not on her front door. It came from the hallway, 3 slow taps, like someone rapping on the locked door with the back of their knuckles. Sarah froze. The sound was small but very clear in the dark. She held her breath and listened. Another 3 taps, a pause, then a final tap. Almost shy, she did not move. For a full minute, she looked at the time. "Las 12:17 alta m. Maybe pipes," she thought. Maybe wood, settling. But she had lived in apartments before. Pipes did not knock like a person. Wood did not keep count. She waited for a 4th set that never came. At 12:30, she fell asleep with the lamp still on. In the morning light, the door looked harmless again. To prove it to herself, she made tea and stood in front of it while the kettle hissed. She pressed her ear to the wood. Silence. She told herself she had imagined everything. She took a marker and wrote on the tape, in small letters next to the warning, "Heard knocks at 12:17. Maybe building noise." That night, the knocks came again. 3 sets of 3, then 1. Sarah texted her best friend Hamza, "You will laugh at me, but there is a strange door in my hallway." He replied at once. "Send a pic." She sent the photo of the tape, the bolts, the wood scarred with faint scratches. Near the bottom, he sent a voice note that looks like a fire hazard. He said, joking, "Want me to bring a crowbar?" "Very funny," she typed. Then, "Come tomorrow evening, we'll have dinner." On the 3rd night, the knocks came at 12:12. Earlier than before, they were stronger, impatient. Sarah got up, heart racing, and whispered, "Who is there?" She hated herself at once for asking. She did not believe in ghosts. But the word "who" hung in the air like bait. There was a sound like a breath dragging along wood. Then silence. She put a chair under the handle and added a chain she bought at the hardware store, even though the bolts were on her side, even though the door could not open inward without her unbolting it. The chain made her feel better. She slept with her shoes on. The landlord's warning sat in her head like a stone. Please trust me. She wanted to. It was simple advice. Do nothing. Ignore it. But each night the door asked for attention the way A sawtooth asks for your tongue. It became the center of the apartment. It pulled her gaze without moving when Hamza came on the fourth evening. He brought biryani and jokes. He was tall, always smiling, the kind of friend who made rooms lighter. "Okay," he said after the meal. Standing in the hallway with his hands on his hips, "Let's listen." They waited. The apartment clicked and sighed. The refrigerator hummed at 12:10. 2 minutes earlier than the night before, the knocks began, not quite loud, but firm. 3, 3, 3, 1. Hamza's smile faded a little. "That's weird," he whispered. "Pipes," she said quickly, even though her face went pale. "Or someone is playing a joke on the inside of a sealed door," he said. He stepped closer and pressed his ear to the wood. "Hold on." He moved his head and frowned. "It sounds not exactly from inside the door, more like it is using the door." "What does that even mean?" Sarah whispered. He raised a hand to tell her to be quiet. They listened. A thin scrape followed the final tap, as if something long and soft dragged across the other side. Hamza stepped back. His hands had stopped joking. His eyes were serious. "Now, okay," he said. "Let's not open it." "Thank you," she said, relief flooding her chest. They made rules. Rule 1, do not answer the door after midnight. Rule 2, do not speak to it. Rule 3, do not test it, not even a millimeter. They laughed while writing the rules on a sticky note. They laughed because rules felt childish, like the rules kids make for games, but the laughter was thin. And neither of them took the sticky note down at 2 a.m. after Hamza left. Sarah found a folded paper pushed under her front door, not the locked door, the regular front door that opened to the building hallway. She crouched, picked it up, and unfolded it. It was old. Soft paper with round letters in blue ink. "If you are reading this, you have heard it." The note said, "My name is Rita. I lived here before you. That door is older than the apartment by a long time. It wants to be opened. It can sound like a person. It can sound like a problem. It can sound like you if you open it. It will take what you are and leave something that looks like you. I am sorry I did not warn you in person. I am trying. Please trust me. Do not open it, not for any reason, even if the reason is love or fear or fire." Sarah read the note twice. The last line made her feel cold. Even if the reason is love or fear or fire. She folded the paper and put it in a drawer. She did not tell Hamza yet. She did not want him to worry. On the 5th night, the building's fire alarm screamed awake. At 12:05, the sound pierced Sarah's skull. Strobe lights flashed red across the ceiling. She grabbed her bag and ran toward the front door. Smoke did not curl under it. She touched the knob. It was cool. But the alarm howled. In the hallway, the locked door rattled hard. The 3 bolts shivered in their sockets, as if someone on the other side was throwing their shoulder against the wood. Then, through the alarm, a voice she knew. "Sarah, open the door." It was Hamza's voice, muffled, panicked. "Fire in the stairwell. Come through here, now." Her hand rose. The words, "even if the reason is fire," hammered in her skull. She swallowed hard. "Hamza," she shouted, "where are you?" "Here," he cried from behind the wrong door, the forbidden door. The bolts trembled. Red lights splashed across the tape. For one dizzy second, trust felt like a stupid word, a childish thing. She wanted to save her friend. She wanted to live. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. She yanked it out with shaking fingers. A text from Hamza. "Sorry, fell asleep after dinner. My phone died. Charging now. You okay?" The alarm stopped. The hallway turned quiet, except for the ringing in her ears. The forbidden voice behind the door whispered once. Not Hamza now. Not anyone. Just a shape of sound. "Please." Sarah slid down the wall and sat on the floor, shaking. She cried, quiet at first, then ugly. She did not open the door. When the crying ended, she felt empty and clean, like a road after rain. She wrote on the red tape with a steadier hand, "It will lie. It will sound like a friend. Do not open." In the morning, the building manager told her the alarm had tripped by mistake on the 3rd floor. No smoke, no heat, no fire. The manager apologized and gave her a voucher for a free month of laundry. Sarah thanked her and went back upstairs and taped the voucher, unused, next to the warning as if it were another charm. She bought a small camera and pointed it at the door. She set it to record from 11:50 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. The next day she watched the video. For 20 minutes nothing happened. Then the knocks started. The camera microphone picked them up. Soft but sharp. Yet the image did not change. No shadow under the door. No movement of the handle. Only at the final tap did the frame twitch. A single raw glitch. The way a video sometimes breaks when a magnet passes near it, the time stamp skipped. 1 second, like a blink, like the room had tried not to see. On the 7th night, a new trick. At 12:01, before the knocks, someone knocked on her front door. 3 polite taps. She went to the peephole. She saw Hamza in the hallway, wearing his blue hoodie, holding a paper bag of snacks. He waved, mouthed, "Open up." Her phone buzzed. A new text, "Be there in 20 minutes. Traffic." Her mouth dried. She watched the figure through the peephole smile wider. The smile kept growing a little too far. It tapped the paper bag with a finger like a metronome. Tap, tap, tap. A minute later, the figure took 1 step backward and was suddenly too long. As if the hallway stretched around it. Then it was gone, as if the lights flickered and it slid between frames. She did not move until Hamza knocked for real. 21 minutes later, breathing hard from the stairs. "What's wrong?" He asked through the normal door. She let him in and told him everything. She showed him the note from Rita. She showed him the camera glitch. He listened without jokes now. He held her hands and said, "Okay, Sarah, we follow the rules. We make new ones too. We leave if it gets worse." They slept on the living room floor, like kids camping. In the morning they ate breakfast by the window and watched the street wake up. The sunlight felt like a gift. No knocks in the daylight, no whispers. The door at the end of the hall looked like dead wood again. Days went by. The knocks kept to midnight. Some nights the pattern changed. 2, then 2, then 2, then 1. Some nights a faint humming rose from behind the door, a tune without notes. The landlord checked in once, looking thinner than before. "You are all right?" he asked. "Any problems?" He looked as if he already knew the answer and did not want to hear it. "If anything happens, please trust me," he said again. Who was Ryder? Sarah asked. She left a note. He closed his eyes. "A good person," he whispered. She stayed too long. He left without explaining on the 10th night. The apartment lost power at 11:58. The lights went black. The refrigerator stopped humming. The camera died. The city outside still glowed, but the hallway was a tunnel. Sarah lit her phone flashlight. The beam shook. At 12 o'clock, the knocks began, louder than ever. The bolts shivered. Dust drifted from the frame. The red tape fluttered. From the other side came a sound like a hand dragging slowly, lovingly, across the wood. Then a whisper that was Sarah's voice, exact, accurate, like a mirror. "It's me." She heard herself say, "It's safe. It's just a closet. Please trust me." Her light shook more. She shut it off. In the dark, she could hear her heart. She remembered the note. She remembered the landlord's eyes. She remembered Hamza asleep in the living room. She stood up, walked to the kitchen, and came back with a small hammer and a box of long screws. Her father had taught her to fix frames and shelves. She could fix a door frame too. Her hands moved faster than her fear. She set the first screw into the jamb, above the top bolt, and drove it in until metal squealed. The knocking stopped for 1 second, then it doubled, furious. She set a second screw beneath the bottom bolt, a third in the middle. Each one bit the wood and made the door a little more part of the wall. The whisper tried other voices, her mother's, a child's, Hamza's, her own again, begging, angry, sweet. She kept working, tears on her face. Every screw made the apartment feel more like hers, more like real space and less like a trick. When she had set the 10th screw, the knocks stopped. The silence that followed was not empty. It had weight. It pressed the air flat. The temperature fell. She could see her breath. Then, very slowly, the handle turned a fraction against the chain, as far as the metal would allow, and stopped. A single tap came from far away. Not in the door, not in the wall, but somewhere behind her. She did not turn around. She stared at the door and said, softly, "No." The power came back at 12:21. The hallway light blinked once and held. The red tape lay half peeled. She pressed it back down and added another line. "We strengthened it. We did not open. If you are reading this, keep it closed. Trust is the only key." By morning, the air felt normal. Birds sounded like birds again. Hamza made tea. "We should move," he said. The idea felt like sunrise, bright and simple. "We will break the lease. We will go today." They did, by sunset. Boxes were piled in his car. The landlord watched from the sidewalk. He did not argue. He looked relieved and sad at the same time. He pressed a small envelope into Sarah's hand for the next person. "If they will listen," he said. His eyes were wet. "Thank you for trusting me." In the new apartment, there were no extra doors, just a neat kitchen, a sunny bedroom, and windows that opened to trees. The first night, nothing knocked. The second night, nothing whispered. The third night, just when Sarah finally began to think of other things, a package arrived. No return address. Inside was a small brass key on a string and a note in blue ink. Round letters, like readers, but not the same. "You did well," the note said. "It will try again. Doors are everywhere. Remember your rules. Pass them on. The key is not for opening. The key is for keeping the promise. Hang it where you can see it. It will remind you. Trust is stronger than the knock." Sarah hung the key on a nail by her front door. It caught the light and made a small, warm star on the wall. Most nights were quiet. She began to sleep without thinking about doors or rules. Weeks later, during a thunderstorm, she woke at 12 o'clock to a soft single tap from the closet in her bedroom. She did not get up. She did not speak. The key on the wall glimmered in the flash of lightning. The tap came again, then again. Each time it waited for her to move. She pulled the blanket to her chin and stared at the key. She whispered to the dark, "The door must not be opened. Please trust me." The tapping stopped. The storm moved on, somewhere far away. A door she would never see waited for another listener, another night, another reason, but it would not be opened by her. Not for love or fear or fire. She slept. And in the morning the air smelled like rain and new bread. She made tea and wrote a letter to the future tenant of whatever place would hold that wrong door next. She wrote it in clear, simple words that anyone could understand. She started with the only sentence that mattered, the sentence that had saved her life and kept the shape of the world in the right place. The door must not be opened. Please trust me.